Okay, public to be heard.
Good evening. My name is John Guy. I live in South Congress Street here in the borough. Actually, I've got two things. First, my own comments. I'm very discouraged that we start out with an immediate 4-2 vote, reversing something that happened from a previous council, without any chance for public discussion and with a very unscientific poll of number of heads who actually showed up at a meeting in November. Now, I think we could have done this perhaps on the 12th, maybe with a little bit of notice for some of our neighbors. Maybe there are some good reasons for you to choose to vote along party lines 4-2, but it just seems to set a very bad tone, and I'm very discouraged that we start out this way. It was certainly not a good way to keep a good buzz going here from the group. But anyhow, I'd like to read some comments from one of our neighbors, Mr. Charles Machon from North State Street in Newtown Borough. He writes, "Dear council members, congratulations on your election," and he says re-election. I think he means longevity. "I apologize for not being present tonight. Unfortunately, I'm on business travel. I think it is important as we enter a new era in the operation of Borough Council with new economic development such as the Stockburger site and the outstanding Old Skunky issue that the Council agree to transparency in governing the people of Newtown Borough. I would like the Council to agree that on projects on which it will vote, that it establishes a procedure to ensure that there are no potential or actual conflicts of interest. Specifically, first, before a vote, each council member goes on record as to whether he or she has any potential or actual conflict of interest in a project. Second, if there is a potential or actual conflict, the council member states if he or she plans to recuse themselves from any vote that could affect their interests. For example, if council members have property that abuts Old Skunky or has property that would be affected by council actions regarding Old Skunky, they should disclose that in an open forum and then state whether they will recuse themselves from voting on the proposed action. I request that the Council go on record by vote agreeing to this process. As a former ethics officer for both the U.S. government and a publicly held company, I can assure you that this is common practice. I think as you begin this new year, it is important to let the citizens of the borough know that your actions will be transparent and are in their best interests. Thank you for your consideration. Sincerely, Charles Machon.
Good evening, Paul Salvatore, 148 North Elm. I was a little disappointed, Mike, that twice tonight you've alluded to the fact that there's a new majority, and that bothers me a little bit when we talk about everyone was elected to represent all of us, not a party. So there can't be a new majority because there should never be a majority. You should represent all of us. And I've said this before, you're a Democrat or Republican twice a year on election day. The rest of the time, you represent us. And to hear that in history, it's a momentous, that bothers me. Because I hate to think that you're representing a political party and not me, okay? I like to think Gerard represents me. I like to think Bob. I like to think all of you. I like to think you're going to do what's best for this community. I read the newspaper where it talked about the cameras being a Democrat-Republican thing. I was upset because it isn't. It's a personal choice. There's as many Republicans against the cameras as there are Democrats for it, all right? I think that was a disservice. I think it's a view. You feel, Perry, it's an invasion of somebody's privacy. That's great. There's parents here who feel it's security for our children. That's how we look at it, all right? So it's not a right answer or a wrong answer. It's your view, my view, okay? I respect your vote. You're a councilman. But to hear that there's a new majority, that leads me to believe, what does that mean? You're all elected. The majority is going to change back and forth. It was 4-2. It was 6-0, and it's going to be 3-3. And Dennis is going to have to wake up and do something, but that's fine. But to think that, I say I got you, Dennis. But to think that the word majority, that bothered me. And I'd like to get that out of here. I think we've had enough politics in this community. I think we need to put it aside, and you guys work for us. Okay? Thank you.